How about now? There we go. There we go. There we go. All right, now we're on. Okay. Well, like I said, a couple new things on the board. Well, anyway, since you didn't hear that before, we'll do it now. Anyway, we do have Henry and Carlos with us from Healthy Dane County's Prevention Coalition, and these guys do a lot of great work with our youngsters, and that's really what we're here to talk about. Because a lot of this stuff, just to be honest with you guys, no parents are really there when you're doing this. So you're going out to all the schools, you're making a lot of friends, a lot of young friends, and doing a great job of really trying to make these kids aware about how bad things can be with drugs and vaping and smoking and alcohol and stuff. And it's sometimes I would say you would think it'd be an easy task, but I know it's not.
No, it's not always easy. You know, it's it sometimes the topic could be potentially, what, for lack of a better term, maybe taboo a little. You know, it's not something that people really like to talk about all the time, and especially young people. You know, and our job is to get them early. You know, so oftentimes drugs and alcohol and substances aren't even on the spectrum yet. You know, it's not even on their radar. And that's the idea, you know, so we can get them when they're younger before they start making decisions. And, you know, when we go in and teach the Too Good for Drugs program, we don't just simply talk about the dangers of substances on the developing brain and body, but, you know, we talk about just like self-development things. Mm-hmm. You know, we discuss goal setting, problem solving, friend selection. We talk about peer pressure refusal strategies and managing our emotions. That's a big part of impulsive decision making, you know. And we do that in the first week of the Too Good for Drugs program. And then the second week, we kind of talk about the health risks of substance use. And so we believe, and I believe the Mendez Foundation with the Too Good for Drugs program believes that if they can get that first week of information with the goal setting, decision making, mm-hmm. friend selection, peer pressure refusal strategies, managing our emotions, if they can get the first week of information, you know, rooted into their standards or their morals, you know, the second week is just a no-brainer. Like if I understand what my goals are and I know how to make good decisions and less impulsive decisions, I'm more than likely not gonna use drugs and alcohol, you know. And so, but we're not gonna just sit here and act like that. When you get into high school, that peer pressure is not a thing. Fitting in, you know, coming from various different art schools and then commingling with other different people that you've, you know, only met maybe on the basketball court during a rural school game or something. And so there's a lot of things there that could potentially cause these students to use substances. But, you know, we really genuinely hope and believe that when we communicate with them younger, before they get into middle school and into high school, and we do Too Good for Drugs in the middle school and the high school as well. But if we can kind of get them early, making good decisions, focusing on their goals and their aspirations, and I mean, it's been working, you know, per the Missouri Student Survey, and we can go over that a little later on or whenever you're ready for it. But.
So you're a prevention specialist, and Henry, you're the Stop Act project coordinator, correct?
Yes, sir, yep.
Okay, so tell us what the Stop Act actually is that you do.
So I'm on the Stop Act grant. It stands for the Sober Truth on Preventing Underage Drinking. So my job specifically is alcohol prevention on underage people. So not just kids. I worked under 21. So obviously the legal age to drink is 21. So my focus is prevention. So under 21, we do things like server training where we go around and we contact local vendors. Every vendor in Dake County, we go around and try to get them to this meeting where the state comes in and teaches them responsible server training and how to look at fake IDs and stuff like that. So my job specifically is underage drinking. And preventing that, people under 21. That falls right in line with what Carlos does. His grant focuses on everything, substance misuse, alcohol misuse, vaping, weed, stuff like that. It falls under everything. So mine specifically is alcohol, and Carlos is on the DFC, which is just drug-free communities grant.
Okay, I was going to say, when you start using acronyms, you need to tell people what that really means. So basically, I mean, both of you guys are employed because of grants.
Yes, sir.
That's correct.
Okay, and these grants are usually 5-year grants or even longer sometimes, because it takes, first off, you have to develop the programs, then you have to implement them, and then I would say that everybody would think, well, this is just a no-brainer. You think the schools will want you in there, but you got to make time. You got to work with each individual school
That's right.
around their schedules to make sure that what you guys want to come in and do fits in with the curriculum that they're working with.
Stan, I got to tell you, we have an incredible relationships with all schools in Dent County from R1 to R80. I mean,
And Bunker now.
And Bunker now,
Yeah,
yes, sir.
yeah.
We're actually going into Bunker to do the Too Good for Drugs program in April. Thank you, Henry. So, excuse me. But that's really cool. Last year we got to get into Bunker and we did a vaping prevention assembly, and that was really cool. And they were really receptive. And really excited to get in there for the Too Good for Drugs program. That's more of the meat and potatoes of what we do here, and I think they're ready for us. I think they're anxious to have us in there, and we're ready to go. But yeah, we have a great relationship with every school in Dent County, and it's not. I don't want to say it's pretty easy. And I'm really good at developing and cultivating relationships with people, but I understand how it could be difficult. It is difficult scheduling around. Or calendaring around all these different schools' schedule, and so it's a lot of work that some people don't necessarily see,
Sure.
but it takes a lot of effort, and I'm always taking Sonic drinks in the schools to the to the front desk ladies there, and they're just fantastic to work with, and I'm really proud of the relationship we have with the schools, and I have conversations with other organizations in Dade County, and they don't necessarily have that same kind of relationship, and it's something that we've worked hard at from day one, and it's something that we continue to work at, and we develop those relationships every day, and I think that's a big part of why we see so much success in the way of prevention is our relationship with the schools.
Right. And you are, was it 4th through
Ninth.
9th?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
4th through 9th.
So,
But not limited to.
no. But I mean, but that's
focus,
your concentrated grades. So what grade level is easier? And how do you, and maybe not only just say what's easier, which grade levels do you change your curriculum for each grade level? Because obviously, because a 4th grader and a 9th grader are not going to be receptive to the same thing. And to try and keep a 9th grader's attention versus maybe a 4th grader's attention, again, may not be the same thing. So each grade, basically, you guys kind of cater your presentation to?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah. So each grade has their own curriculum. So there's a curriculum for grade 4, grade 5, so on and so forth, and when I first started working here, we were focused on grades 6 through 9. And then, then we moved from 4 through 6, and then now we're doing 4 through 9. And so if you ask me which grade's the easiest to present to, it's got to be 6th grade, because we've been hitting 6th grade every year since I've been here. But I think one of my funnest grades to present to is the high school. Man, they're just so much fun, and the curriculum is geared toward 9th graders, and the activities in the 9th grade curriculum, it's super fun, and it's engaging, and it gets them out of their seats, and it gets them just involved in the program. It's in my opinion, it's fun. I hope I don't offend any of the other grades, but 9th grade I have found is probably one of the funnest curriculum to teach, and 6th grade's got to probably be the easiest. What do you think?
So 9th grade, this year is my first year teaching 9th grade. We just started doing 9th grade.
Well, you're barely on 9th grade yourself.
I wasn't here when Carlos did 9th grade a couple years ago. So
Several
this
years
year's
ago,
my first year doing 9th grade, and he had to miss a couple days. The curriculum walks you right through everything you need to know and go over when you're teaching. And 9th grade was super interactive. I had a lot of fun with it just teaching. There's things that you as the teacher has to do to interact with the kids. So it's like Carlos said, it's a really involving, super interactive program. There are some 4th grade classes that I really enjoy teaching. I like the younger kids They're easier to teach for me. That's kind of what I'm going to school for, is elementary education. So that 4th through 6th grade group, I'm super interested in. That's where I want to teach. So those 4th through 6th graders, I've had a lot of fun teaching, and then this year we're doing 7th and 8th grade and 9th grade on top of that. So we've been pretty busy.
Oh man.
Fourth,
Oh man. I
grade
mean,
in every art school, and then we do 9th grade at the high school. So it's been, we got 6 schools this year, including Bunker.
oh yeah.
So
Yeah, it's been busy, Stan. I got to tell you, it's
wow.
busier than it's ever been. You know, again, like I said, we did 6 through 9, then 4 through 6, and now we're doing 4 through 9 and Bunker. We're busy, but it's it's a good busy. It's a good thing. And
So
we're
coming
really
off the new year, though, you guys had a little bit of break. You're right back at it next week,
Oh, yeah.
though.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so
Yes, sir.
Not a lot of rest for the wicked.
Yeah.
You know, but so when you guys go in, like before you use the keyword involved, you got to get these kids involved. You make them understand by getting them involved, and
That's
I
right.
think that's the key. You talked about peer pressure as well a little bit earlier. Peer pressure starts in first grade. It really
yeah,
does, but
absolutely.
you know, it gets a little bit worse, but people tend to get down on themselves or lose confidence. That's when they start turning to something alternative, and that's not usually the best way to get
Sure, yeah.
around that. But you know, whether they're intimidated, bullied a little bit, or maybe they just want to try and fit in with somebody that they think is super cool.
Yeah.
You know, when you address these things, getting them involved, do you see sometimes when people, I mean, sometimes in faces, you can just see when somebody, like, you're talking right to them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
They know that you're not really talking to them, but they know it's directed toward them.
Listen, Stan, it's funny, especially in the like the middle school and high school, when we say something about why vaping's bad for you or something, why you shouldn't do it. There's always 3 or 4 students that look at one student. I mean, it's funny, but you know, again, we're not ignorant. You know, we're not going to sit here and act like anybody who goes through the Too Good for Drugs program has never used and never will use. You know, we understand these things. That's the hope. That's the goal, right? That they don't use, and if that's the case, then they would have a healthier future, correct? And if that's the case, then how much more beneficial could that be for our communities? And but yeah, oh yeah, middle school and up, it's generally you see couple of 2 or 3 students looking at one student, and the one student's got a look on his face, like, or her face, like, oh boy,
Yeah, that's talking about you.
Yeah.
That's how my.
Right.
So when you guys go into the school, are you there all day? Is it there
Sometimes.
for 2, 3, 4 hours? Do you address one grade at a time when you're going? Like it's gonna.
It varies.
Okay.
we do all of it. So
Yeah.
at the we started off at R2. We did 4th through 6th grade at R2. Then we went to R1, did 4th through 8th grade. Then we came back to R2 and finished up that 7th and 8th grade group we didn't do. Right now, right before semester ended, we were with the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade boys at R80, and now we are with the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade girls. But they're all mixed in, so now we're just teaching 7th grade curriculum just so it fits for all of them because their classes aren't split up. So we quite literally do every single possible combination of things that we
That's
can
right.
do just because we like to be easy and whatever the schools need from us.
That's exactly right. We try to we're customizable. You know, it might not be the best and the easiest way for us to get it done, but I think one of the main reasons why we have such a great relationship with the schools is because we're on their terms. You know, anything that we do in the Too Good for Drugs program, we take an hour out of each class every day for 10 days, and that's a big ask.
That's 10 hours.
Yes, and for them to let go of those teaching times is, you know, in my opinion, education comes first. I get that, right? But at the same time, you know, if you're worried about using substances or you're under the influence of substances or mental health, you know, we can get into that later too, which came first, the chicken or the egg, or which came first, mental health or substance use. You know, we could talk about that later if you like, but you know, we try to do everything that we can around the school schedule and their availability. And when we go into the schools, we want to be a help. we don't want to be a burden. I don't want them like, oh my goodness, Carlos is
Yeah,
calling me
yeah.
again. Oh, here we go.
Oh man,
You know,
that
and
guy ever leave me alone?
right. Yeah. And I tell the schools, and they've never cashed in on it. But I tell them, if you guys need somebody to come in and serve lunch because the lunch lady called in sick or whatever, give me a call. You know, I'll come do that, because I think it's important for us to be a help. We're there to help them and help them be successful in educating our students, right? And asking them to let us come into their classroom or in their schools all day long for 10 days, you know, that's an incredible ask. And for them to let us do that, it's a testament to the relationship that we have with our schools.
So tell us about these media blitzes you guys do. I mean, you've done them at a couple different schools now, and I know you've got probably a couple more planned yet for the spring. I'm sure parents probably have heard from their kids, if they have any in school, about these media blitzes. I mean, they come in and they're overwhelmed with all this information, but not really overwhelmed. It's just kind of in their face, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And for the schools, it's really good because it's very hands off. They don't really need to do anything. We'll take a handful of our Teams on Prevention students from the high school, from the Student Led Coalition, and we'll take them to these schools. For example, we just finished a media blitz at R3 just last week. We contact Ben with a town screen, and he comes and he sets up 2 screens, standing monitor screens for us. Don't know the exact size of those. I don't know if you know offhand.
48 inches tall, I believe, and 2 feet wide.
48 inches tall, 2 feet wide.
I believe it.
Perfect. Yeah.
Pretty
They're
close
big.
to that.
Yeah, they're pretty big, and they're on these wheel. It's a pretty cool setup, and it's filtering through approximately 15 minutes of prevention images and wellness images every 10 to 15 seconds. Right. So, and it loops every 15 minutes. I don't know if I'm making sense there, if I'm communicating that correctly.
It repeats itself.
It repeats itself. Very good. And it's there all day long, and it's in high traffic areas. And a shout out to Town Screen and Ben. He's really great at just kind of being there. Sometimes I could call him the day of or the day before. And I got to tell you, I know how busy Ben and you guys are here at KSMO. And he's always stepped up to the plate, and he's always been there for us. And I just want a big shout out to Ben and Town Screen, and give these guys a call if that's something you're interested in. And then also we plaster prevention posters and wellness posters all over the middle school hallways.
Is that Henry's job?
Well, we're all doing it. You know, you hear that saying,
gotcha.
Many hands make light work.
Yeah.
And so that's when we kind of recruit some of our high schoolers from the Student Led Coalition, and we go to these schools and we plaster these posters everywhere, and it's just like a visual shock, like, oh my goodness, what happened to our hallway? And where are these screens? And the teachers and the counselors and the principals tell us that they walk out in the hallways and they'll see some of these students just circled around these,
kind of hovering around those screens.
Exactly, just watching the images and the slides filter through. And
so when you're talking about this is a major undertaking, so you can't do this in the middle of a class time. You got to get in there either way early in the morning before school, or the night before, or Sunday before, right?
Yeah, it's generally the day before on a Sunday, on a weekend. So because the idea is is to promote shock value, right? Well, our school is completely different this morning when we walked in than it was yesterday when we left, or Friday. And so that's generally what we try to do. It doesn't always work out that way, but that's the idea. And the students at the high school are awesome, and they make things a little easier for us. But the schools, I think they might like that a little better, because they don't have to do anything. We don't have to take any classroom time. We don't have to take any or cause any distractions. All it is just we're there. Nobody sees us there. We get the job done and we leave. And then that residual information helps retention, and they just see it over and over and over and over. And the hopes are that it'll sink in.
So is a media blitz 1 day, 2 days?
It's a full week. It's a whole week. So we set it up preferably on a Sunday, and we could sometimes go pick it up when the students are in class, like maybe on a Monday. And so sometimes we accidentally leave them there for a couple more days. But they don't. they don't get too frustrated with us. It's good information, and so if there's one thing that we're going to promote, why not? So
When you guys first started doing this is a little bit new to both of you. What have you learned from the curriculum that you're teaching and the feedback that you get from these kids? What are you learning from the program, especially you, Henry, since you want to go into elementary education?
Teaching in general, the program is only as fun as you make it. Nobody likes to get lectured at. So if you're just sitting there reading like a robot off the script, no one's going to pay attention. Carlos and I bring candy in. That's a big hit. So the kids like that.
Oh, we're not supposed to tell the parents, man.
We bring candy in. We try to have a lot of fun with it. Sometimes we go off script if we can tell the class is kind of not paying attention. If the lesson's not hitting, we'll.
So you adapt
Yes.
to each class and how they're reacting.
Oh, yeah. Henry hit the nail on the head there. It's a good opportunity for us to get in there and communicate with these students. And we could bring some of our own life experiences into the curriculum or some of the examples from recent high schoolers who may have been in an accident due to substance use. It's not to embarrass anybody, but it's just like most students think, well, that'll never happen to me. Oh, that's just simply not
Happen
true.
to them, it won't happen to me.
That's exactly right. And the same way with addiction, and so they think, well, I will never become addicted. And one thing that I think is really beneficial for the students to hear is, people that they might see who have been struggling with substance use and been addicted for several years. And sometimes those people are homeless or however, but what I usually tell them is, do you think these people thought day one, I can't wait to become addicted to methamphetamines?
Yeah.
Well, no, they don't think that. They think, well, this will never happen to me. Well, and then before you know it, you're in stage 4 addiction, and it's difficult to get out of it. And it's something that people have to struggle with and deal with every day, even when they've gone through the programs, even when they're no longer under the influence of these substances. They still struggle with that addiction every day. I mean, I can't speak from experience, but having conversations with people, they'll tell you it's an everyday fight. And I will pretty well guarantee you, almost 100% of them never thought, well, I can't wait to become addicted to alcohol. I can't wait to become addicted to methamphetamines or vapes or prescription medications, or opioids. So it's something that we kind of like. You could just see like the light bulb come on in their heads, like, oh man, I didn't really think about that. And but it's a good thing to bring it to their attention and make them think about it, even at a young age.
Right. So you were talking here moments ago about the student-led coalition, and so this is not just you guys. And yes, we have a Healthy Dane County Prevention Coalition as well, with business leaders and other people who interject ideas in the health department. Everybody's there. But talk to us a little bit about student-led coalition. So this isn't just you guys going out there. You actually bring with you at times, I know sometimes you can't, but students who these kids may be admiring. It might be a softball player, basketball player,
right.
Could be somebody from Quiz Bowl, whatever it might be, that these kids like, wow, I want to be like that. You have that, especially in the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. Yeah, I'm going to be like that guy, or I'm going to be like that girl. So is that helping you when these students buy into it and then they actually want to help?
Yeah. So yes, sir, absolutely, 100%. Our Student-Led Prevention Coalition, they've named themselves TOP, top, and so they like to say we're Salem R80's top students, and it stands for Teens on Prevention. Yeah. And when we first started the Student-Led Prevention Coalition, we partnered with the Health Center, and we still partner with the Health Center, and they come to the TOP meetings or the Student-Led Coalition meetings, and very involved with what we're doing there. And we partner with a lot of people other than just the schools, and we're really proud of our partnerships with various different orgs in our community. But so the TOP started through a Teens Teach Prevention efforts. We had 8 students that were hand-selected by Sarah Sanders at the high school, the counselor there. She hand-selected these 8 students. These students have to miss a lot of school, right? Yep. And so they have to have a certain GPA. They have to have they're only allowed so many absences that they're able to miss school. And so she's hand selected these students. This was, again, 4 years ago. And this is where it all started, right? So they go to a training to implement the Teen Siege Prevention curriculum. Out of those 8 students, we were able to create, with a health center, we were able to create a student-led prevention coalition. It started with those 8 students, right? And so now, and for that year and for the following year, it just remained potentially 8 students or whoever went and got trained for the Teen Siege Prevention. I know it's confusing. I apologize. But
well, you're going to have students that graduate.
That's right.
So they're going to move on. And you have to replace that.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
And so, well, this year, after communicating with our coalition sector representatives, talking with Sarah Sanders at the high school, with Riley and at the health center, and communicating with these people, we thought, well, I wonder what would happen if we open it up to the entire school. And I got to tell you, we've got over 30 students that come to these Teens on Prevention, Student-Led Prevention Coalition meetings. And through that, we're at Salvation Army, the bell ringers at Walmart, to raise money for Salvation Army. We filled an entire Saturday made up of some of our students on the TOP to fill a Saturday of ringing the bell for Salvation Army. And also the mini maze that the health center put on and that we partnered with. I can't remember exactly when that was. It was a couple months ago. And then now the teen maze coming up in March. Sometime in March. It's because we have these students and their availability and their relationship with the younger kids and the peer-to-peer relationship there. Without them, a lot of these things would be incredibly difficult to do if able to do at all.
So I want to ask Henry this question because you might even have known some of these guys. Obviously, first one, Henry's a graduate from Salem High School. And so when you were going to school, you may have gone through a program like this. Actually, you may have. I don't know because of the selected grades that it was at the time, or you might have missed it. But when you have the opportunity to work with some of these students that can come in and enhance what you guys are doing, do you find that more effective? If you were a student in Salem and you saw Braden Gaps come in, or if you saw a star off the softball team or a girls basketball team come in, and you're like,
so
starry-eyed, and you just see the kids' eyes light up.
Yeah, so we talk about that a lot with the kids in the meetings. Our students at the high school, we tell them, don't want to put Carlos out here and tell his age on live, but Carlos is older than I am, and he tells them
twice as old as you are.
Yeah, he is double my age. Yep.
Okay.
And I'm 20, so if that tells you how old he is, but thanks. Anyway,
Thanks, Henry.
I'll work my math skills.
Yeah, we tell them all the time that, these kids listen to Carlos and they might receive the information well, but when Braden Gaps comes in and he tells them stuff, and especially these 4 through 6, these younger kids, they look at Braden Gaps, he's dropping 30 points a night at the home games and stuff they're going to watch. They're like, wow, like this is best player on the basketball team, and he's standing right in front of us, right? When you're that young, you think these guys are superstars. So we always tell them, these kids want you to be there. And the kids are super excited when those older guys come in, and we're actually starting something this next school year where, these top sports players in the NFL, NBA, you're a baseball fan, the MLB, they have these sports cards, right? They have their names, their rookie cards, stuff like that. So next school year, Carlos and I are going to start making some students at the high school their own sports cards, whether they're the kids in our Teens Teach or our TOP, our Teens on Prevention, or maybe even just the sports kids at the high school. We don't want anyone to feel left out, so even band and club members, we're going to make some cards for them too. And Rolla, Prevention Consultants of Missouri, and Rolla, they make their sports cards up there, and they're probably cooler than some of the ones you'll see for these professional players.
Yeah, they're pretty
cool.
They're
pretty neat. So we're gonna take their cards and we're gonna implement them into Salem, and we'll have days where the whole basketball team will have their sports cards. They'll go to the upper, maybe, for example. This is just hypothetical, but they'll go to the upper, and during lunch, all these kids are eating lunch. We'll come around and pass out these sports cards, and the kids really love that stuff when they see these grown kids who, the stars of the football team or the baseball team or the basketball team are coming in, volleyball team, softball. they're super excited when those athletes come in. So we're going to start something like that, and I think it'll be.
Well, real quick,
Sure.
Peer-to-peer programming is incredibly important. You know, you can know my name, you can like when I come into your schools, you can enjoy the candy that I give you and all the jokes that I say, whatever. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is, Stan, I'm still 41 years old, right? I'm not 20 like Henry.
Wow, you're more than 40. You're actually 41. Oh,
yeah.
my.
Just to clear that up, okay?
Yeah.
But so peer-to-peer programming is important, you know, for that very reason. Like Henry said, sorry about that. The students are more receptive to hear from people closer to their own age, right? But I can't remember what was the question that you asked. I wanted to say that before I.
Well, the question is about how the younger people, we bring the students along, the impression, how it helps these kids identify.
Right.
I mean, really, if you look, and well, pardon the phrase, Braden, but you're getting picked on today. But I mean, if Braden Gaps comes in and they see that he's successful and he's drug-free and he's a part of the top program and he's part of this, wouldn't you, as a fourth grader or fifth grader, if you're trying to be kind of like Braden, wouldn't you want to just kind of duplicate what he's doing? And if you put it on a card right now that this is what he's doing, isn't that a kind of a constant reminder to this kid, hey, if you want to get to this level, you've got to do these things.
That's exactly right. It's a part of our Know Your Why initiative that we're doing, and we want students to know why other students are not using. And it's a common misconception, and I'd be willing to bet that most middle schoolers believe that every high schooler in Salem already vapes.
Sure.
Well, it's just simply not true. Right, we have the information, we have the data per the Missouri Student Survey. You know, the high school has each school has their own information that's specific to their schools, right? But the information it proves that that's just not true. So it kind of breaks that stigmatism. It kind of helps the students think, well, maybe they don't all vape. Maybe they don't all drink. And another thing with these cards, it does two things. One, it sends a message to the younger students, right? But it also creates buy-in from our high schoolers. You know, I don't think we're struggling too much as of right now for buy-in. It's still kind of new. It's kind of fresh. Henry and I do things to try to make it exciting, right? But it also creates a buy-in, and it helps these high schoolers remember why they choose to be substance free. I want to go to college on a basketball scholarship. I want to go to college on a band scholarship or academic scholarship. And if I'm using marijuana or drinking alcohol and destroying my brain while it's developing, it's going to be much more difficult to accomplish those goals. And so the two things it does is it sends a message to the younger people like, hey, not everybody in high school is using, and you don't have to either. Right. And then also creates the buy-in from the high schoolers. And it's just a really cool effort. And I think genuinely it's going to pay off.
And you brought up these results that you have talked about with the student surveys. And we have seen how the efforts of you and Henry and in the past, the people in the past have done to where Dent County was one of the highest users of cigarettes and alcohol stuff, and that has changed. That has changed in the last 10 years.
Yes, it has.
Drastically.
Henry's got the Missouri Student Survey pulled up on his phone right now, and in 2022, and every student grades 6 through 12 has had an opportunity to take this if their schools have registered. But for the students that have taken this Missouri Student Survey, this is the numbers for that. So in 2022, in the past 30 days, students grades 6 through 12 have reported using vapes. What is that number, Henry?
It was 20% in 2022, and then 2 years later they took the test again. And this is Dent County specific, so this is county specific. So 2022, 20% of students grades 6 through 12 reported using electronic cigarettes, and then in 2024 that number dropped almost 13%. It went down 7.9% of 6th through 12th graders reported using vapes in the past 30 days in 2024. And this semester they'll take it again. It's at the 2-year mark, so we're super excited to see where that number's at now. And every statistic on here, everything dropped except for oddly, inhalants was the only one that went up. Alcohol in 2022, 13.9% of students reported using alcohol. And then in 2024, it was 5.3, so that went down 8% as well.
Right. And so the culture's changing, period. Right. And some of these students are filtering out, they're graduating, moving on. Right. And so we get new students and new students and new students every year. And so the culture is obviously changing. We're going to really know how good of a job we've done after this year's survey takes place. And I think all but one school has already registered for the Missouri Student Survey, and I think they have I think a couple more months to be able to register for that. You know, they can't all get it done at the same time, and it's totally understandable. But all but one school has registered for the Missouri Student Survey, so that lets us know that this information is also important to the schools. They want to know this information as well, and and everybody has access to the Missouri Student Survey. Just type in your search engine Missouri Student Survey, and then you could check statewide, you can check countywide. The only thing that you're not going to be able to see is each individual school,
right? And
the schools have that information, and it's up to them whether or not they share that information. And they've all been pretty good at filling us in with that information so that we know how to gear our purpose, right?
So your presentation at each school has to be geared toward where
that's
they
exactly
need
right.
the attention.
Yep.
Yeah, so if the numbers are high for alcohol, instead of doing maybe a vaping assembly, maybe we'll do an alcohol prevention assembly. You know, so it kind of helps us gauge and gear our purpose and what we want to accomplish in the schools and what we need to work towards. So the Missouri Student Survey is an incredible tool, and it's data. It's data. It's what we do is data driven. Okay, it's not just well, I think this is going to work, so let's do this, right? It's all science.
Everybody has a great idea, right?
Yeah, and you know what? I understand. You know, you might have an idea that might not necessarily you might not be able to gauge it through data or whatever, but that doesn't mean it won't work. You know, ideas are great, and here's the thing, and that's why it's important that we have a prevention coalition. You know, because I might have a crazy off the wall idea that I might think could help, and you know, our coalition will, Carlos, let's think about this. You know, and they could bring me back to reality, which is always good. And not just that, but they also have a lot of good ideas, and they also have a lot of good resources. It's made up of 12 different leaders throughout our community, from the school, health, and government officials, schools, students. You know, it's made up of a lot of leaders in our community, and I think because of our coalition, that's why we're seeing all these results. You know.
The Prevention Coalition of Dent County is kind of a quiet group. You don't really, you know, you don't hear a lot about their meetings. You don't hear a lot about anything going on. But you guys give a report once a month. We get a chance to review it, hear it. People get a chance to comment on it. There's some interject ideas like you're talking about. But it's not only about the youth and stuff that we're worried about, but we had a drug take-back day back in October. And, again, we used to have this, I think it was twice a year. It used to be in Denton County. I think it was in April and also in October. But this year there's just down to one, because we do have dispensers, by the way.
That's right.
At the Denton County Sheriff's Department and Salem Police Department, that if you have outdated drugs, maybe somebody has passed in your family and you still have all their prescriptions, or maybe you're not taking that prescription anymore and you don't want to flush it down the toilet. It gets into our wastewater and it gets into our clean water, you know, because you can't get rid of all those chemicals. Just drop it off. It doesn't cost you a thing to do it, but we still had a drop-off location at Walmart.
That's right. It was in
October.
A very successful day as well. So I think the year prior, 2 years ago actually, we did the same thing. We was at the Walmart and at Country Mart. And a shout out to Walmart and Country Mart for letting us do this at their places there. It's a great lot of traffic there, and just very beneficial. So shout out to them. Thank you for letting us do that. But 2 years ago, we had, I think, one freezer bag full of prescription medication. And talking with the sheriff's department and the police department, they believe that it was because of our drop boxes. Because they I don't know how often they incinerate or how often they have
to get enough.
They get they get plenty.
They
and
do.
So and they informed me that they believe that it's because they're seeing so much success with the drop boxes at the sheriff's department, at the police department. And
But this year you
but
had
this
more.
year we took a year off, right? And then per some guidance from our coalition, they recommended that we go ahead and we try to do it again this year. And so we did, and we got a 55-gallon, I believe it was a 55-gallon trash can full to the top with prescription medication that people are no longer using or it's outdated. And some people might question, how's that connected to prevention? Well, we maybe not everybody, but most everybody's familiar with the opioid settlement that Dade County has, and it's because people were taking these opioids and these prescription medications, they were becoming addicted to it, and then when they wouldn't get their scripts, the doctors wouldn't write their scripts because they could see the addiction happening. Then they would try to buy them off the streets, and then the kids can get a hold of them if it's in their medicine cabinet above your sink. It just promotes prevention by just out of sight, out of mind. And so, and then also we're also trying to keep them from flushing it down the toilet or, because that gets into our water, and we don't necessarily want that either. So, but it was a good day on October, I believe it was October 25th. We partnered with the Salem Police Department. They had police officers rotating in for the couple hours that we were there, and man, have we seen a lot of success. And I'm very grateful for our Salem Police Department. Very grateful for Walmart again for letting us do that. And it's.
But it doesn't just, well, I guess my point is, it isn't just for kids.
That's exactly right.
Drug prevention is for everybody.
For everybody.
And one of the things you were talking about, those leftover drugs seem to find their way, if you don't dispose of them properly, they find their way to the street. Because, if grandma has it for grandpa or grandpa has it for grandma, and the next thing you know, you don't have them around, all these drugs are still there.
That's right.
Well, little Johnny says, hey, grandma, I'll take care of those. He goes and sells them on the street. So, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but why let it happen?
That's
if you have
exactly
the
right.
opportunity?
Prevention.
But a lot of people, and in self-defense of our Salem Police Department, Sheriff's Department, people are a little bit apprehensive about dropping these prescription drugs off at a drop box. I mean, they think somebody's going to ask them questions or things of that nature.
Right. No,
that's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's out in the foyer. You might cross they'll promote it too. The police department, the sheriff's department, these deputies and these officers, they'll promote it because they know the benefits of it, and so you won't be held accountable if you have prescription medications or whatever the drug is, and you made a decision. Hey, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to sell it because I don't want somebody else to get a hold of it. I don't want to flush it. Take it to the drop box. You won't be held accountable for that.
Let's talk. I want to talk a little bit about the Healthy Dane County Prevention Coalition, because I think most people don't even know they exist, which, maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's not a good thing, but they do know you guys exist because they're probably hearing it from their kids and their grandkids.
Sure.
So you guys are part of that. But you guys work with Healthy Dane County Prevention Coalition, which is trying to make it drug-free, alcohol-free, smoke-free in parks and things of that nature, pretty much everywhere in Dane County. And not to try and take away anybody's freedoms or anything. The idea is to keep your better health.
That's right.
And you guys work closely with Jamie Myers.
Yes.
Jamie comes out of the prevention consultants out of Rolla. And when you guys get to those meetings, there is a plethora of information that's coming to you from the health department, from the schools, from Jamie, from other people out there, maybe even in the media and things that have different ideas, that you guys have incorporated over the years. Now, I'm going to say that very next meeting, you've got it already planned out. It may take 6 months, might take a year for it to finally figure out. I think the cards deal was one of those that was brought up about 4 months ago.
Yeah.
And then how can we implement that in Dane County? Well, you have to figure out how. And I think that's the neat thing about what you guys have done, taking those meetings, taking that information, figuring out how it can apply in Dane County, and bringing it back to the coalition. And this is what we'd like to try and do. And you guys have done your homework. You've done the foundation work, I should say, to set it, get it in place, and then make it move forward. So I wanted to give a little shout out to the Prevention Coalition, because that's a group of volunteers from within the community that really does care about
absolutely.
our community, enough to sit there and say, okay, we're going to take a couple hours out of our day, sit here, and how can we protect our youth? How can we?
That's right.
How can we even keep older adults healthier and a number of different things? Because you guys have worked with the health department, they've done different things that are geared towards schools as well.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, so it's not just one group doing it; it's everybody. And of course, Healthy Dane County Prevention Coalition comes from Healthy Dane County, obviously, our
Right.
Healthy Dane County, which they write the grants for the Prevention Coalition for
That's
you
right.
guys to be there, and that's a lot of work.
So it's important to note and understand that everything that Henry and I are doing, and we haven't even really talked about the mentoring program, and we
Right.
could talk about that later.
We'll just touch it.
But everything that we're doing in our community and in our schools does not happen without our coalition.
Right.
And so our coalition is incredibly important. It's the foundation of what we do with prevention, right? Understanding that our organization is probably not the only organization doing substance use prevention in our community, but I got to tell you, it's my opinion that we're leading the way in our community in prevention, and it's only because of our prevention coalition that we have in Dade County.
Right. You have church leaders in there. You
we
have
do.
schools in there. You have the health department, media. You have a little touch
That's right.
of everything in there.
We have school superintendents participating in our coalition meetings. We have church involvement participating in our coalition. We have businesses and various different
Hospitals.
organizations, government entities, being a part of what we're doing in Dade County with our coalition. Nothing that we are doing today and the success that we're seeing today does not happen without this coalition. And Sherry and I were talking. She's the executive director at Healthy Dade County and one of the founders of the Prevention Coalition. I believe it was founded in 2017 with the late George Gwendell. I believe Jeff Dodson, Sherry Lee at the Healthy Dade County, Jamie Myers with Prevention Consultants of Missouri and Rolla, and several others. And I apologize
You're not
if
gonna
I'm
remember
missing
them all.
anybody.
Yeah.
But because of these several people who thought we have an issue in Dent County, and we want to work towards preventing some of this stuff, and they made a decision years ago to create this coalition, and everything that we do today is a product of their hard work, dedication to their community, and we're so incredibly grateful for that. But you're 100% correct. That it is, our coalition is probably not talked about enough, if I'm being honest with you. Like, again, Sherry and I talked before. Previously, we haven't done the best job at letting our community know what we're doing. And so we've really tried to rearrange some of our priorities that we can communicate with our community what we're doing and provide the numbers. And that's one of the big reasons why we're here today, Stan,
Yeah,
is
well,
to...
we want people to know, and this is why maybe when your kids or grandkids talk about this, talk about Carlos or talk about Henry or talk about what they got to do at school today, and it was kind of cool because we got candy or almost whatever it might be, or even
Yeah.
a T-shirt.
That's right.
You guys were shooting T-shirts at them. When you have kids get excited about anything, it makes more of an impression on them that lasts.
Right.
And like Henry had mentioned, you just go in there and lecture somebody. If you lecture somebody like this for 2 hours, they're not going to learn much of anything, which is true.
That's exactly
and,
right.
And so, the whole idea behind getting the kids involved in this, and again, then because if the kids get involved and they stay with it, their parents virtually almost by default have to somehow get involved.
Oh, yeah. So,
And that's the key. That's kind of the key. So you're not just, now that child is coming up, as they get older and they become a parent, they already know what it's about.
yeah, that's right. So after the Too Good for Drugs program, while we're doing the program, these students get a workbook. And after the program, we leave this workbook in the classroom so they don't take it home or leave it in the locker and they don't have something to work on. So we leave it in the classroom until after the program. Then after the program, we promote for these students to take this workbook and put it in front of their parents, because their parents, more than like, especially the younger kids, you know, like 5th and 6th grade, they're probably looking for an opportunity to talk to their kids about the dangers of substance use. And so,
But how do you do it?
that's right. And so we kind of felt like that if they take this workbook home and they put it in front of their parents, like, hey, look what we've been talking about. What do you think? You know, it could be a good opportunity for their parents to talk to them about maybe their personal experiences with substances, or why they choose to not use, or, you know, but it just opens that door of communication between the parent and the student. And I know a couple of years ago, we were sending mailers home. We would drop off a bunch of stamps and postcards to the teachers, and the teachers would put them in their backpacks. And this, again, it's just a testament to the relationship that we have with the schools. But the parents are incredibly important, and I want to encourage parents, you know, even if they don't bring the workbooks home, look for an opportunity to ask your student questions about substances. Talk to them about it. Talk to them about the dangers of it. At the very least, tell them what you know. And if you don't know some answers, check out our website. Go to let's see here. Go to salemcommunitycenter.org. Click on the prevention tab, and we have resources there that'll help you have conversations with your parents. I believe we have resources there that if you want to quit smoking and vaping, there's resources there. If you want information about alcohol or opioids, click that tab. Check out the resources that we have. We're also on Facebook at Council for Healthy Dick County. Give us a call. Ask for Carlos or Henry. We'll get you to the right people, or get you the information. That number is 573-729-8163. Reach out to us. Come see us. You know, ask for us. We'll love to entertain a conversation with you and provide you resources about the dangers of substance use. And we have postcards that are literally geared for parents to have conversations with their students. Just kind of questions that you could ask your student about substances. And we have tons of resources, and we would love to help in any way possible.
So when you guys go into the classrooms, you're mentoring to a group, and that's what you're really doing. And, you know, but also this past year, a mentoring program has become available to where it's a one-on-one deal to help some kids. Henry, can you just touch base a little bit about Liberty and what she's doing with the mentoring program?
Liberty's done a fantastic job with the mentoring program. I'm actually a mentor, so is Carlos. We mentor over at R4. Carlos helps Thursday mornings at the upper.
Not anymore.
Well,
they've
sometimes. Yeah.
As
was
a sub.
at the upper though.
Yes.
Yeah, at the upper. So
at the upper and at the R80 middle school.
So he's done it at both. So we, like we said earlier, we kind of just fill in wherever we need to be. If somebody needs something from us, we're there to help. But I mentor. We actually mentor today, Wednesday nights. I have a student. First week's always kind of harder because you're getting to know each other. But I have grown a friendship with this student, and teachers have said that he's improved in classes and he's doing better in school and he's paying attention more in class. And we've also had him in Too Good for Drugs, and mentoring really works. And I've seen it just with my student, and we've seen it with Carlos's student and the kids over at the upper and the R80 middle school, and Liberty's done a fantastic job with the mentorship program.
Done great. And I just to kind of share a little bit on what Henry was talking about. Henry's student I had for Too Good for Drugs several years ago, and this student was very unengaging, right? And then when I would try to kind of encourage him to participate, he snapped his pencil in half. You know, and it's just like, I'm not going to do that. And you know, I know my lines, and I know what I can and can't do, right? Yeah. So I just kind of backed off, but I'm telling you, I had him again this year after mentoring, and he's engaging, he's participating, he's enjoying it, and it's just Henry's done a great job with his mentor. Liberty's doing a fantastic job with the mentoring program altogether. Again, we're at the R4. We're at Salem R80 Upper Elementary. We're at Salem R80 Middle School, and we're actually, our goal is to be in every school in Dent County with this mentoring program. But the only way that we could do that,
Need more mentors.
we need more mentors. And so if you're hearing this and you're at all interested in becoming a mentor,
Now, tell a little bit about the program now. How often do you mentor? How long do you mentor?
you mentor for an hour once a week.
Okay.
Okay, and we have 3 different options that you could choose from. If you need an afternoon option or if you need a morning option, we have those options available to you as we're in the 3 different schools that I mentioned earlier, R4, R80 upper, R80 middle. And so you'll meet with your student once a week for 1 hour. And Liberty has an agenda. The first 15 minutes, we're working on homework. We're working on educational development. Then after that, we're kind of, I think it might be the first 30 minutes. First 30 minutes.
Homework, yeah.
And then after that, it's 30 minutes of games. When the weather's right, we'll go outside and we'll play outside on the playground, on the basketball court, throw the frisbee, whatever it is that Liberty can bring to the table there. And right now, as it's cold outside, well, every now and again, we might be able to go outside.
You won't be today throwing the frisbee. The wind will blow it about 5 miles away. Man.
Today we'll be inside, and we have puzzles, we have board games, we have cards, we have all kinds of stuff that we could do, coloring books. I mean, it's just a great time for these students, and these students just light up when they see us walk into the door. And well, we're there first. They light up when they walk in and see us. It's just a great thing, and I can't really. I wish Liberty was here, and I just can't give her enough praise. She's done a fantastic job with our mentoring program. And again, those numbers and that information that I gave, just call us. Yeah. That number is 573-729-8163. Ask for Liberty. Ask for anybody. Just say, I'm interested in mentoring. We'll get you to the right people, and we'll start that process. Every mentor does have to go through a background check, and I think that's appropriate, as you're dealing with students and young people and you're going into the schools. And so there is a fail-safe there. There's, some checks and balances that you're going to have to go through, which is, in my opinion, appropriate. And so please, if you're interested in being a mentor, we need you. and this is a way for you to make a big difference in a student's life. They need that extra adult attention that's not necessarily coming from a teacher or principal, or a parent, right? And so just to have that outside resource come into their lives and just genuinely care about that student's well-being, it just means a lot to these students.
And sometimes they use it as a platform to voice.
That's right,
vent.
They need somebody
fine.
to talk to.
Just
and
go ahead.
Yeah.
So let it happen. So a mentoring program is available it's through Healthy Dent County. And again, that's another separate program, not necessarily Prevention Coalition, but it helps Prevention Coalition.
It actually is. It actually is lumped into the prevention.
But it's not exactly what you guys are doing.
That's exactly right. I apologize.
No, it's kind of an arm off that. But
that's right.
The idea is to give that child confidence, and when you give them confidence, they don't need to turn to another substance.
Man, that's a big deal. I'm glad you said that, because it is a lot with confidence and having that self-confidence in yourself and who you are and what you believe in.
I belong. I don't have to.
I don't have to deteriorate my self-value or my standards in order to belong to your group. I'm comfortable with who I am, and I have that confidence, and these mentors can help promote that confidence in these young people.
You guys are centered out of the Salem Community Center in the Army. Healthy Dent County runs Community Center at the Army. They do offer a lot of different programs. I want to let you guys just talk a minute or two about the different stuff that they have going on. Obviously, the fitness center. A lot of people know the fitness center. They put a gym in, and I know Henry has used the gym quite often, including he has the ankle to prove it. It's not just one thing that goes on there. I think people think, they hold all these events. Yes, they do. Man. They hold events, but you have your Missouri State Highway Patrol testing and driving tests being taken out. There's a lot of different things go on there. So I'll let you take the stage here a minute and just kind of touch on that. Or Henry, you can do the same thing.
We also are starting taxes. We have AARP coming in to do people's taxes for free. All you got to do is call us and make an appointment. Same number Carlos has said a couple times.
But you have to make an appointment.
Yep, you have to make an appointment. We start Thursday, February 5th, and I think we go into March.
You go into April.
Go into April.
First weekend, last Friday in
that's
April.
right.
Or first Friday of April, excuse me.
Yep, we go into April, so it's completely free. All you got to do is make a phone call. So, and we've got the gym, like Stan said. We've got the fitness center. Jackie.
And by the way, you can rent out the gym.
That's right.
For a half hour or an hour at an incredible low price.
That's right.
I don't know the prices exactly. I think it's $15 for an hour for half
still
court.
not much.
It's nothing. Yeah, nothing at all.
Give us a call. Talk to Lanessa. She'll straighten you out.
We also do our bounce house parties. We just ordered a brand new bounce house about a month ago. It's gigantic. So it's a lot bigger than the other two. It's got some neat things about it that the other two don't have. So you can call and schedule a bounce house party if you have a kid who wants a birthday.
And it's climate controlled.
That's right.
Yeah,
It's not too hot, not too cold.
Yep. Jackie, Lanessa, Susie, they teach some classes just about every day of the week, different classes. If you're interested, again, give us a call. Carlos and I do prevention. We do fingerprints, Identigo fingerprints, background checks. If you need a background check, if you're applying for a job and your employer says you have to get a background check and they give you a code, we could do that for you. We do
fingerprints,
all kinds of stuff. I'm
I
probably
think
missing
the only
a
place
bunch
in
of
Dade
stuff.
County that does fingerprints.
We've got meeting rooms that you can rent out. We just put in our Circuit 30.
One of the craziest things that we got most recently is that bungee exercise where you put the harness on and you're bouncing around. I got to tell you, it was the funnest thing watching these guys get on that bungee. There's some weight restrictions as to why I didn't get it. But watching these young people get in that harness and just fly around, it was incredible. It was fun to watch.
And we're not sure when that class will be open. They're still trying to figure out all the logistics of it. And
oh, Jackie, she's incredible, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's just all over all of it. And
but also
Susie.
the Healthy Dade County Fitness Center has memberships. You can contact Lanessa, get all the information about that. You can get a membership that you can pay for. You can have it immediately deducted from your bank account. You can also get 24-hour access.
Yeah, I think there's discounts added if you do have the automatically deducted from your account. So.
And also don't forget, too, if you are on Medicare, if you have supplements like the United Healthcare, you can get, a lot of times they include gym memberships. They will pay for you to go.
Yeah. Call Lanessa. Talk to Lanessa. She'll straighten you out.
And ask them. So a lot of different things going on down there. Very good.
Yeah. A couple of things before that I would like to mention also.
Sure.
We have for every Tuesday in February, there's going to be line dancing. I don't exactly have a time, but if you check our website and check our Facebook, give us a call.
I think it's usually at 6.
Usually at 6.
I think so. 6:30 somewhere.
Yeah.
Usually around there.
Yeah. So that's going to be every Tuesday in the month of February, and then also I believe Luke Heidhold and I will come back to the radio program here and talk to you guys about the Financial Peace University that we're facilitating there at the Healthy Dade County. And we've done one round of it already, and I think we had, Henry, you were part of that. How many did we have in attendance? About 12?
It was 18. I think
18?
It was, I started out with 18.
There were some classes with 18. Sometimes people couldn't make it, but we averaged probably 14 or 15 people.
So we had 18 people register for this Financial Peace University last go around, and it's coming back. Let's see, the date is going to be February 8th from 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. It's a 7-week course, and it's going to be on every Sunday at 2 p.m. to 3:30. We'll have some snacks. You might want to grab lunch before you come in there, but we'll have some snacks, some chips, and some drinks and things available for you there. But we've seen a lot of success with the last course, and Henry was a part of that course. You want to talk a little bit about your experience there?
Yeah, so Luke's done a lot for me in the aspect of money. He's, you come out of high school, I didn't know anything about retirement or anything about saving or so I was kind of just, I get a paycheck, I spend my paycheck, right? So I want to buy some new shoes and anyway, so Luke told me about this Financial Peace University class. It's a Dave Ramsey course. He told me that he would pay for me to take it because it's information that I needed to know, and so I went through the course and he taught it and I learned a lot. So I opened up a Roth last April. It's doing pretty well, and starting retirement at 19 years old just because the right person came and talked to me about
That's
it.
the
So
best time to start.
Yeah, it needs to be talked about more with youth. I wish we could plug it when we do Too Good for Drugs, just because it's something that you don't know
I
about.
don't think a fourth grader needs that quite yet.
Well, think about it. They start in fourth grade.
Well,
there's not much money that they can put in there, but
That's
birthday
true.
money maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Money from grandma.
Right.
Yeah.
So if the Financial Peace University is something that you're interested in, which I recommend it, I highly recommend this program. I will be attending this program this go around, and so if you just want to hang out with me, come sign up. But I'll tell you what, the coolest person in the room is going to be Luke Heidhold. And I got to tell you, he's brilliant. He's incredibly intelligent, super smart, gifted young
Down to
man. And
earth.
he's awesome. Just one of the best guys I know. And he will not lead you astray, I promise. So if your financial stability is important to you, or if you have questions, or if you're trying to figure out what your future looks like, if you're trying to sell, buy, or whatever it is, sign up. We'll get you. Luke will get you going in the right direction there. So.
And he answers questions. He'll stay after if you need to.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
just to make sure you're clear and that you don't take something the wrong way. So
Right.
if you have questions, Luke's more than happy to help you out.
It's also really, really great if you're struggling, you're in a lot of debt, you don't know how to get out of your debt, it's stressing you out. Dave Ramsey and that course, Financial Peace University, has methods that work really well. There's all kinds of success stories they show. It's called the Snowball Method. I'm not going to get too far into it because if you're interested, you can call and sign up, and like Carlos said, he'll be back again to talk about that.
Very good.
I do want to go back to Braden Gapsch.
Okay.
We talked about Braden
Poor
Gapsch
Braden.
a lot tonight or today. So we're bringing Braden to Washington D.C. with us this year. We go to D.C. For a CADCO event. It's a big conference they do in Washington D.C. every year. We have meetings for a few days. We are privileged, and the school's worked amazingly with us to make it a school event for Braden, so he's not missing school. But we get to bring Braden to CADCO this year in Washington D.C. It's kind of our pilot program. It's the first time we've done this, so we'll see how it goes and see if we'll do it next year or see if it's something that we want to keep doing. But we're super excited. Braden's super excited. He's a really good kid. I think he has a passion and a heart for prevention, and we're stoked to bring Braden to D.C. with us. He's a little scared for the flight, but I think it'll be all right.
I don't know. Has he ever left Dent County?
I don't know, but I know he hasn't
Well, I
flown.
mean,
I
he
know
has
he's
for
left
basketball,
He's left.
but I mean the state of Missouri.
Well,
I
yeah,
guess, is a better
he's went and
question.
watched some NBA games. I think.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
TV,
Okay.
So he's left Missouri, but he's never flown before. So
One thing I think it's important to note, and I tell our high schoolers this, one way or another, you're going to influence people. You're going to influence somebody.
Sooner or later.
Are you going to influence them to do the right thing, or are you going to influence them to do the wrong thing? And I think that's just him being willing and available to go the extra mile for this additional training is a testament that he wants to influence people in a positive light. And I think that he's a credible young man. He's been a part of our TOP and Teens on Prevention since day one, and really proud of him. Really proud of our TOP students, our student-led coalition. We have officers now, and so we're making some headway there. We're incredibly proud of our high schoolers, and really looking forward to what we can accomplish with their efforts. So,
If you have any questions about what Carlos or Henry talked about today, especially with the kids, the Too Good for Drugs, the Stop Act program that Henry's part of, you can definitely give them a call, 573-729-8163, and you can talk to them. I mean, they're in the office most of the time. Now, next week, I know you guys will be doing a little bit
That's
of
right.
instructing, but
Yeah.
if they're not there, leave a message. They'll get back to you when they're back in the office. And, if you have any questions, because some people may have heard something here, say, hey, my son or my daughter brought this home, and I didn't understand what it meant. Hey,
Yeah.
fine. Find out what it meant. You can get in touch with these guys. Or, as they mentioned, go on the website, and I'll let Carlos tell you about the website again, and you can check it out. There is a whole bevy of information on Preventive Coalition, as well as mentoring, on
That's
the
right.
website.
Yeah, so if you go to our website at salemcommunitycenter.org, you'll be able to have access to everything that Healthy Dent County is involved in, from prevention to parties. Whatever it is that you want to do, it's on that website. You could also check our Facebook at Council for Healthy Dent County, or give us a call at 573-729-8163. And if you're interested in prevention information or resources, go to that website. Again, salemcommunitycenter.org. Click on the prevention icon in the top box of the page there, and it'll take you to our prevention website. You'll have Henry's information there, my information there, the Stop Act grant information, Drug Free Communities grant information, mentoring information, Liberties information, and all the resources that you could possibly need.
There you go.
So
Carlos Lopez, Henry Cameron, part of our Healthy Dent County Prevention Coalition, but more importantly, they are teaching your kids how to stay substance free. And that's really, they do a good job. We wanted to have them on because a lot of people don't even know who these guys are, and they hear their kids talk a little bit about them. And I tell you what, it's been a pleasure to hear what these guys have done, how they get excited about it. I have an opportunity to go to those Prevention Coalition meetings and really am impressed with how it has developed over the last few years, and give credit to where credit's due. It's these guys that are making it happen. So when your kids come home excited about not doing drugs, about not vaping, about not drinking, thank these guys, because these guys are making an impression. We really do appreciate that. And thank your schools as well, because without them allowing these gentlemen to go in and talk to those youngsters would not happen either.
that's right. Big shout out to the schools, man. They are incredible to work with. Stan, thank you so much for letting us come on.
Thank you, Stan.
Appreciate you
look
guys
forward to the
coming
next
in.
one.
Right here on KSMO Radio, AM 1340 and FM 95.7. And if you missed part of the program, go back. We stream it at KSMORadio.com, KSMO Stream Facebook, KSMO YouTube. You can go back and listen again on our KSMO YouTube page and KSMO Stream Facebook, and check out the information you may have missed. All righty, keep it right here. KSMO, your hometown radio station.